What's up, voters? Welcome back to a brand new episode. I am Disco, and welcome back to a brand new episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the gubernatorial elections for the 2022 midterm elections. Now, what have analysts have noticed is what analysts have been talking about is the House and the Senate, the two biggest parts in government, the two chambers in the legislative branch. Now, those two have been talked about a lot of times, so much so that the House forecast has changed over the past few months, changing from a Republican wave for Democrats to be decimated to a potentially Democrats actually holding on narrowly. And so yeah, that could happen. It's realistic. But has anybody talked about the gubernatorial elections? Because I've heard candidates speak about their policies, but I've never heard anything about forecast shifting. I've kind of heard they stay the same. So this might be turned into multiple parts. I will say at the end of the video whether it will be or multiple for this series, this part of the midterm elections for my channel. So yeah, now I'm confusing myself. My apologies. So yeah, let's go back to square one. Sorry, my apologies. So yeah, nobody's really talked about the gubernatorial elections. I haven't heard much on the news. I haven't seen much change in forecasts through 538, Real Clear Politics, or 504. My apologies. So let's go into an in-depth review on what is at stake for governor elections and who is running in certain areas, and can Democrats actually gain a majority in the gubernatorial part of the country, or will Republicans maintain or possibly gain seats? Because originally they were supposed to gain a few. They were supposed to gain like Democrats were supposed to hold on to Oregon possibly, but in a worst case scenario, we were talking about this kind of scenario, and this scenario was heavily likely. Maybe not New Mexico. New Mexico seemed a bit out, and New Oregon. My apologies, but this was a scenario. This was a scenario where Democrats couldn't retain Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and lose Kansas. Kansas seems a bit more likely this year because of stuff. They're definitely going to lose Maryland, Massachusetts, because both Republican governors are retiring. Except Maryland. My apologies. Maryland's Larry Hogan is term limited, and Charlie Baker, actually, he is retiring. So yeah, now here's my point. You see this purple important? We're going to talk about which governor races are the most important in my mind. Now, there's 12 of them. That'd be Maine, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kansas, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, and there's one more that I cannot think of. I remember having 4. I think it was Oregon. I would have to go back. But you see this here? And that's red. No. I dislike red. Oh my god, my deepest apologies. Anyways, yeah. So let's get back to a mouse. So yeah, we'll start off with we'll go for important ones. The solid red and the solid blue are governor races that I do not think will change and have no significant impact on the national level. Minnesota would have originally been in here, but this year, no. Even though it was won by a smaller margin than Oregon. That on a gubernatorial election, Oregon's different. But yeah, let's jump right into our first one. We'll go alphabetical order. We'll go with Arizona. Now, Arizona, I'm going to use Wikipedia. Now, Arizona is new this year. It's a term-limited Republican governor. Doug Ducey is term-limited, therefore he cannot get a third consecutive term. So, who is going to replace him? Well, this year is a bit different. In 2020, Joe Biden won this state for the first time. Doug Ducey won this in 2014. He won this by a pretty decent margin. Well, Arizona has been trending a bit. In 2012, Romney won it by 9.1. Actually, let's go back into 2000. Bush won it by 6. Bush won it by 10.5 for a re-election. Then McCain's home state, when he ran against Obama, he won it by 8.5. Romney won it by about a similar margin, 9.1. But in 2016, something happened. 3.5. Something changed from 9.1 Romney, from a usual year for Republicans, for one of the best years ever in 2016, and yet this was one of the few states that changed to the Democrats. Why so? Well, what's the biggest difference is Macomb County. Macomb County is gaining in population. It is actually one of the most heavily populated counties in the entire country. And it's growing suburbs and it's growing city, along with people moving from the Rust Belt into that state, make it a more trending blue state. That's how Biden was able to win it in 2020 by 0.3. And that's how in the Senate, Kyrsten Sinema won it by 2.3, and Kelly won it by 2.3%. Similar margins. But yeah. So that is very, very much popular. Doable. I'm trying to get some. I'm not entirely prepared. I am completely sorry. I am. God, I am out of it today. So, yeah. Let me just get this ready. Because this part, my computer's slow. My deepest apologies. But yeah, just soak that in for a bit. Could Arizona flip from red to blue on a if year for both Democrats and Republicans this year? Well, I'll pull over to the new tab. This is now we'll go to 538. Now during look at some polling data. Now Arizona. Now the Republican nominee is Kari Lake. There's not much about her, although she has the endorsement of President Trump. Kari Lake has been iffy on some stages. Early life and education. She grew up in Illinois. She was in the media. She was originally a Democrat and actually voted for Obama twice. And so, yeah, she was an original. So that's kind of weird to see that from going from a complete 180. You go from a kind of liberal Democrat to go to a heavy, election denier Republican. Her party platform is pretty much on base with other ones. COVID-19. She in actually one of her campaign videos, she actually burned a mask. So dislikes it, and she dislikes mask mandates. And yeah, and actually was taking hydroxychloroquine by the to prevent COVID-19 infection. That is, I'm going to point out for legal purposes, hydroxychloroquine is not a treatment for COVID-19 infection. No, we have other viral treatments to I can't speak properly, to help with the symptoms of COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine is not one of them. The fact that I even have to mention it is absolutely infuriating, in my opinion. Now, political position, she's basically your national Republican for Trump. I mean, I don't know if you can call him the right. She's attracted support from right-wing extremists. So that tells me she'll mainly go for these counties right here. Oh, no. Yeah, that tells me that her popularity will be in. Go with purple. We'll go into these counties. These counties are rural. In order, this is a toss-up county, in my opinion. This one is rural. This county right here, Macomb, is going to be the sweet spot for her. She's going to have to campaign. No matter what, she's going to be campaigning there. And so will the Democratic nominee, Katie Hobbs. But yeah, dispute with Rock Steves. I have never heard of that part. But yeah, that's basically Katie House for you. Basically, a staunch Republican, hates the media, and basically a Trump-backed candidate. Now we'll go for the next in line, next, the Democratic nominee, Katie Hobbs. She was actually elected by statewide, as she is currently as you can see here, the 21st Secretary of State in Arizona. And that's kind of shocking because you never really hear that. Now, she sounds like a usual Democrat. She's in line of succession for Doug Ducey, many liberal policies. And yeah, she's overall popular with the Democratic Party. So yeah. So nothing new about a Democrat here. It's almost like a Joe Biden figure. So she has a chance at winning, although it will be really, really difficult in Arizona. Arizona is not easy to win in because it's been trending bluer. If you put Trump on the ballot, it is more likely that the Democrat will win. Now, polling numbers suggest that Hobbs had a lead in June, and the 24th, June 24th, right around, I think that's when did the Supreme Court made? They didn't make abortion illegal. They just took it back to the states. Made a decision on Roe v. Wade. That's better English. So no. When did the Supreme Court overturn Roe? There we go. On no date. Oh fudge. June 24th. I was right. June 24th. Still the same, but look at the drop within a few days. It's the same lead, but the vote percentage goes from majority for Hobbs to less than a majority. And when the lead expands into August, when Democrats were starting to pick up a bit of steam, and the lead has narrowed, and actually more and more polling data suggests narrower. Let's go look at Real Clear Politics. Now, there has been a tie for Hobbs and Lake, Kari Lake, Hobbs and Lake. It would not surprise me if Republicans were able to keep this, actually. Now, looking at these, this actually is a true toss-up. I'm actually going to make this a tilt for Republicans because I looked at some of the polling data for the 2020 election, and it actually is, and there actually was data showing that Real Clear Politics wasn't that far off with some of these. So, yeah, I am strongly going to put this as, I think I'm going to put this as a lean so far, but this would not surprise me if this would change in the future, maybe even to a tilt. But right now, I'm going to put it as a lean. If I got a lean, so the margin is like 1 to 5. So yeah, that is Arizona for you. Arkansas I will not do. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida. We're going for Florida next. Now that is originally a swing state. So yeah, Florida. So we'll go get that pen. We'll use red apparently. Florida. Who is running on the Republican side? Ron DeSantis. I couldn't care if I got that name wrong. And then Charlie Crist on the Democratic side. Now, interestingly, this isn't the first time that Charlie Crist actually tried running for governor. If I could have my own stuff back, yes. This isn't the first time he tried running for governor. Actually, this isn't his first time actually being governor. This is Bush. Charlie Crist actually won Florida in a mega blue wave back in 2008, winning by 7.1% as a Republican. Now, if you actually look up his interview with The View, there's actually one of these robocall campaigns, and his views were very, very online with the Republican platform. Now, he has done a bit of a 180 on the party, but although he has said, quote, "the party left me," end quote. So yeah, there is that chance It's weird in this case. It's odd. But then he became an independent because what he said. Then Scott took over by 1 point. But then he tried doing it in 2014. Well, a horrible year for Democrats, a horrible year, and yet he was able to get 1.1% in a year where Rick Scott should have won by a bigger margin. But Rick Scott was deeply unpopular, and Charlie Crist had a popular moderate wing, so he was able to do that. He was able to nearly beat him, but he didn't. It's what kind of scares Democrats if they can flip Florida, though. There's a shot. Now, instead of me babbling, why am I choosing Florida as a? Why am I choosing Florida for it being an important governor election? Well, I'll tell you why. Ron DeSantis is unpopular. Ron DeSantis he first won his gubernatorial election just under percentage in 2018 against. He won against Gillum. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. If I butchered it. But Ron DeSantis has been taking a lot of his playbook out of the Trump wing. So he is during COVID-19, he was very like anti-vax. So COVID, he didn't handle it properly. The vaccine, he didn't handle very good. Stay-at-home orders. It even says right here, during the COVID-19 pandemic in Florida, DeSantis resisted imposing restrictions such as face mask mandates, stay-at-home orders, and vaccination requirements. Now, it's just the basics of masks. Masks actually do work. They do work. They prevent the spread. People have this idea that, oh yeah, it is going to help protect you. No, this was both to protect you and to make sure that the spread didn't spread. Now, that was one controversy that he had. Another one was his "Don't Say Gay" bill. Now, this is apparently the Parental Rights and Education Act, but in reality, we just call it the "Don't Say Gay" bill, which basically prohibits talking about sexual orientation or gender identity in public schools and classrooms. Now, he did make a law on critical race theory, although that has slightly backfired since it literally went to the court. Of 3 examples. They actually banned a bunch of math textbooks because of that. No, not images. No, I don't want images. I want news. Yeah, it actually. That's it. Florida woke law. So he signed the woke law into law. He signed it into law, which he said would target prestigious. It would basically target what they would so-called critical race theory. This actually did more harm than good. They found it in math textbooks. Okay, you can get it finding critical race theory in history textbooks, but in math textbooks, I'm sorry, but the math doesn't add up here. The math just does not add up here. Why? Even I'm confused, and I'm supposed to be unbiased. Now, he is running for re-election. He's basically the Trump wing. He has gone into the election denial. He has imposed heavy voting restrictions, although that has been put on hold by a judge. So, yeah, we shall see what happens. Ron DeSantis, slightly unpopular. Now, Charlie Crist, he is up again. Ran for governor in 2006, ran for the Senate in 2010 as an independent, split the party vote, and made Marco Rubio win. Basically giving him such a big victory that it was like, yep, it was notable that he made an impact. Switched parties. He ran for the governorship in 2014, lost by 1.1%, and he's currently he's a member of the House of Representatives in Florida's 13th congressional district. Now, the 13th congressional district is actually a swing district. If I actually pull up here, Crist only won it by 6 points in 2020, but in 2018, during a good year, it was won by 15 points. But if we actually go to the Washington Post redistricting, I don't highly doubt it, but I highly recommend that you look at it because it's actually really good. It does more than just show you new maps. Let's go to the new districts. Let's go to these current districts. The more blue is the more votes. Now I will zoom. This looks like the newer map. Current districts. Okay, here it is. So this is the current. This is the 12th. Chris represents the 13th. Biden only won by 4 points. Not much. So he has represented a heavily Republican district. The yellow is more of in between, is like, yeah, more independent. The more red is more Republican, obviously. This is the right one. Yeah, in this map, it covers a lot of red and a lot of blue. It covers a lot of it. So he represented a pretty conservative district and was able to win. So he has a shot. But his viewpoints have changed over time, which can probably distance voters away from him because his views on abortion have changed. He was originally pro-life. Now he's saying that he's not. He's for a woman's choice. The only thing that has been consistent is his stance on education. Say like Governor DeSantis said a law that, if whoever served in whoever's a veteran actually can go and teach in schools, because Florida has a really has one of the worst teacher shortages in the country. His views on education could sway voters. So yeah, that's the governorship for you in Florida. Now, polling data. DeSantis says, "Oh, whoa, that's a way bigger lead than I thought." God, my throat is getting dry. But based off 538, it's been narrowing. It's been back and forth. Is it within the margin of error? I cannot say, but it's a 6.1 lead, and it's not even a majority. So that tells me there's still more undecided voters. Could Chris win? It's doable, but he would have to make up a lot of ground, and he would have to make a huge margin. But in real clear politics, so far I agree with this. I agree that DeSantis is more likely to win. There's only one poll that says that Chris is in the lead. These are all within the margin of error, except this one. This one is the weirdest one of all time. Although that was back in like February, so that makes sense. But I agree that it would most likely be a lean Republican. Most likely a lean Republican. That's my opinion. No, wrong thing. I would actually say a more likely. So yeah, I really do not know yet, but it could be it varies. So yeah, Georgia is the next biggest one. So yeah, Georgia. My apologies. I had to do something real quickly. All right, Georgia. Now, what can we say about Georgia? Well, Georgia, please give us some insight. So yeah, Governor. So let's look at the history of Georgia. Let's look at presidencies. We'll go back to 2000. Bush won it by 11 points. Bush then won it for re-election by 16 points, being in the Deep South. But Obama did something that he won it by 5 points. That's one of the smallest margins in its recorded history. Then Romney won it by 7. Still within 10 points. If it's single digits, my apologies. But then Trump came in. The Trump effect really did a number on a lot of these states. 5.1. The suburbs of Atlanta usually used to be heavily Republican, then switched. Well, they got more people moving to the cities and moving to the suburbs. Then, in a shocking move in 2020, Georgia flipped. That is a shock move. So it is becoming more and more blue. Stacey Abrams is the Democratic nominee, and Brian Kemp is up for re-election as the Republican nominee. Now Stacey Abrams wasn't able to win it in 2018. She lost by 1.4. Although there has been some shady stuff, some shady voter allegations, but still. Now, so who are these candidates? Honestly, may I just point out that a lot of the previous one, DeSantis does believe in the election lie. It doesn't believe in election fraud. But does Brian Kemp do? That's the thing, though. Brian Kemp, he is the 83rd governor of Georgia, and guy who is desperate need of skincare. So yeah, he is. So he's basically your Trump guy for governor. He's basically your Trump George, your Georgia's version of Trump. He opposed face masks. Basically, a lot of these have a shady history with COVID. That's my saying. Abortion. Now this is amazing. This really gives us a lot. Now abortion, um, they he's been pretty much against abortion. Usually 6 weeks, like you can see here. Election laws. He has imposed a heavy restrictive election law, which hasn't been addressed by the courts yet, but it has been driving more African Americans to vote, which is the complete opposite of this law. Which was the complete opposite of his intentions in this law. He was like, let's get less African Americans voting. No, this actually drove more. Weird. So the economy, basically focusing on rural areas. That's where his voting voting precincts are from. Healthcare. He wants to overturn the Affordable Care Act, key appointments, public opinion. He's quite popular in here. Quite popular. I did not know that, actually. A lot of this stuff I'm finding out. He hasn't been. His views on Trump have been quiet. He hasn't been like, oh yeah, this guy. Oh, maybe. He hasn't been this guy that's like, oh yeah, let's go. Trump. He hasn't even received his endorsements yet. His endorsement from President Trump, which is shocking. He's received multiple. This is the longest list of endorsements I've seen in my life. My God, Stacey Abrams. Okay, in order for her to win, she needs more than that because she won in losing her gubernatorial race. Excuse me. She had way more endorsements. Let's just go to Stacey Abrams. She had Jimmy Carrey, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Eric Holder, who I think was a Republican. No, Eric Holder. Who's Eric Holder? Okay, that's who he is. Sally Yates, Hillary Clinton, Andrew Young, Valerie Jarrett. She had so many endorsements from the former U.S. executive branch officials. But now, doesn't seem like a lot. Although once the campaign does get going, I do believe that she'll get more endorsements. So it will be interesting, though. But for her viewpoints, she's been focusing on criminal justice reform, education, healthcare, and she does support the Israelis in the rejection of the demonization and delegitimization of Israel represented by the boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign, which is anti-Semitic. So yeah, she is pro-choice. I will mention that she is pro-choice, getting rid of the election laws, not getting rid of the election laws, but putting in more fair election laws that will actually that have proven to get more people to vote. So yeah, but can she win? I do not know. This seems unlikely in my point, because if we actually go to the original one in 2018 and actually look at polling, it's been back and forth. It's been back and forth. She's been winning. It's almost been a tie in the entire way. So right now, 538 says about a 3-point lead. Not even a majority. So, dang it, I have to upgrade. My time's run out. So, apparently, I'm only allowed to do so much recording on this new recording thing. So, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll go back to Georgia really quickly. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hasta la vista. In about 5 seconds. 5, 4, beep, beep.